Hello, guys, and welcome to the Penny Podcast. I'm Andrés. I'm in 12th grade, and I'm the Coppell Student Media Web Producer.
And I'm Alishba, Javaid, and I'm also in 12th grade, and I'm a staff writer.
If this is your first time tuning in, the Penny Podcast is a weekly podcast that incorporates entertainment and interview elements.
This week, our CSM highlight goes to Tracy Tran for her article, Walker Carrying Family Legacy, Shining in Theater and Cross Country, published under our sports section. I'll recite the opening to her article. Under bright lights and cheerful applause on stage, she shines as an emotive actress. Bounding out of the theater room, she's eager to run. Long steps in the cold air of early morning practice has become her habit. To read the rest of Tracy's piece, head over to coppellstudentmedia.com.
This week on One Shot, Microsoft has released the first specs for its upcoming Xbox Series X video game console. Shockingly, the console is set to feature graphics that are 8 times more powerful than 2013's Xbox One, while being 2 times more powerful than 2017's Xbox One X. These jumps in technological prowess could allow the Xbox Series X to provide previously unreachable frame rates and display resolutions at a console level. Now, we wait for what Sony has in store for the PlayStation 5. The following Penny Podcast interview was conducted in an honest and open environment. All of the opinions held by our guests are not representative of the podcast's political or social beliefs. We are here to give a platform for anyone and everyone with a voice. Thank you for understanding. Now, what is your full name, grade, and favorite color?
My name is Hamna Asif, and I'm a senior, and my favorite color is blue.
Blue? Good one.
Okay, to start off, can you tell us about your background growing up Muslim and how that became part of your identity?
So I was born and raised in Pakistan, and I was born Muslim, obviously, and my family is very modern, I would say, and they don't force their beliefs on anyone, and I started practicing Islam by myself. My mom usually, she used to ask us to pray and stuff, but in 2013, I guess, in 2015, my mom moved to America, and we were in Pakistan, so I started praying by myself and started building a relationship. So.
And when did you move here?
I moved here in 2013, but we went back to Pakistan, so 2015.
Now, is there a strong and healthy Muslim community in Coppell? Do you go to the mosque?
I feel like there's a very strong Muslim community in Coppell and Well Ranch combined, and as you can see, there are so many Muslim students that go here, and they recently built a mosque over here, and sometimes after school I go there with my dad, but I usually go to the Well Ranch Islamic Center, which is in Irving.
Okay.
Okay, you were mentioning how you were born in Pakistan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was until recently that you moved here. Could you describe Pakistan to people who haven't heard of it, don't know too much about it?
I feel like people have so many misconceptions about Pakistan, and Pakistan is not like that. Pakistan is a place where people are full of life and they're hospitable and they're very happy people, but they're kind of nosy sometimes, but it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, have you found it hard to balance both cultures, moving here?
Honestly, no. Even when we lived in Pakistan, we had a pretty modern life, and we had relatives over here, so we knew the cultures on both sides, but sometimes it's hard to balance because you hold your set of beliefs and sometimes they clash with the other set of beliefs. So
when do you think that's happened? What beliefs do you think have contradicted each other, that you've found it hard to continue those beliefs in an environment where other people don't follow them?
Personally speaking, I don't go to parties and stuff, and we don't drink, so that's one clash, and I guess.
That's a pretty big one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were mentioning misconceptions, and speaking about that, what are some serious misconceptions people have about Muslims in general?
So after 9/11, people usually had misconceptions that Muslims are extremists and they are very, they go to extreme levels and women are usually oppressed. And people also had misconceptions about Pakistan because the terrorist attack was linked to Pakistan. And I feel like nowadays people are starting to know more about Pakistan and Muslims, but Muslims themselves, they have to reach out to people. They have to raise awareness and introduce themselves, introduce a religion. And some of the other misconceptions, I feel like they feel like they're not educated, and yeah.
Okay, those are interesting.
I agree with what you said. Sometimes, people have misconceptions, and it's kind of up to Muslims to explain to them, as long as they have an open mind and they don't always believe what they see in the media. So do you think the media has portrayed Muslims accurately?
No, I don't think that. Because if you look, nowadays the media coverage isn't that much. If a Muslim does a terrorist attack or they do something, then the media coverage is like really big. But if a person who's not Muslim, if they do it, then it's like pretty much like small. And if you see what's happening in China or India or even in Kashmir, the media coverage isn't that much. It's mostly in countries like Pakistan that they, like cover everything, because India and Pakistan, they both have like differences. So
How do you think things can get better from here?
I feel like Muslims, they need to be like open to other people's beliefs as well. There are some people even in our community who try to impose their beliefs on other people, but if you want a community where everyone respects each other, then you need to listen to other people as well, right? So I feel like educating other people, raising awareness, and telling them that we are also fun,
Yeah. Do you think that culture is sacred? Is it something to hide behind or something to build yourself up with?
So the thing with culture is that so many people think that culture and Islam, they're same. And from the culture I belong to, there are many people who, like, the beliefs in their culture, they're like sacred. But I don't think like that. The culture, like, it just beautifies Islam. It doesn't, impose.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I feel like people should follow the beliefs in Islam, and culture should be taken seriously, but it shouldn't like lead people into different things. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a lot of Muslim, Muslim countries, and a lot of them, they each have their own culture. And a lot of times, like, I know in Pakistan, the culture does clash with the religion, and people usually don't realize that, and that you should follow, like, the religion, not the culture always, because the culture could be embedded with, things from the past that aren't right today.
Yes,
but the religion is always, right for what we believe.
That's interesting, because I would say that American culture is kind of all-encompassing in the way that it kind of combines Christianity, Catholicism, two big ones, and it permeates almost all aspects of society. And it's cool to see that Muslim cultures don't really do that. I mean, you can kind of choose to be what you want, even though it can clash sometimes, right? How difficult, how do you deal with that, honestly?
I feel like it depends on the family you belong to. If your family is like culturally like very strict, then it's hard to balance between it. But my family, we are cultured, but we're not strict. So
That's the
we
thing.
know our values, like we know what Islam teaches us, and like at times our culture is wrong in like many ways. So
Has it changed the way you perceive life as a whole?
yes, I
Big
feel
time.
like life is like after I became religious, I feel like life is very short. You never know when you're gonna die. Like even though you're young, but we don't know what's gonna happen next, and you just need to live your best life and make sure that people around you, they're happy with who you are. And yeah, like Islam teaches us to be kind to others. So in my life, I've tried to like embed kindness like every step. So
Okay, I'll talk about this. We'll talk back to media. What is a recent piece, like an article or any of the media that you've seen that's been negative about Muslims? Maybe like a specific one that you've seen, anything like that. Maybe with like just the president in general. What are your thoughts on him? Again, the political aspect of things.
So not recently, but I was reading an article over how China has like created detention camps, and they treat Islam as like a disease. So that was pretty negative, and I felt attacked because in Islam it says that the whole Muslim ummah, like the whole Muslim population, is one body. So if one part of body feels pain, then the whole body is supposed to feel pain. And those people who are in those camps, I don't know what they're going through, but treating them as a disease or something, that's just wrong. So
Yeah, I know. When I first read that, I couldn't believe it because there wasn't that much coverage on it. I didn't think it was real. I was like, how could this be happening? And the sad thing is people know about it and the countries still aren't doing stuff about it because
it's
of
just
like
history's
political...
repeating itself. Yeah.
Definitely.
Alishba mentioned President Trump. Do you think that he is fighting for and/or represents Muslims in America?
I feel like he doesn't represent Muslims, but he's not fighting them either.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to engage with the Muslim community, but he obviously doesn't represent Muslim people.
Gotcha.
Is there a certain political presidential candidate you're supporting as of now?
I like Bernie Sanders.
Why do you
Yeah.
like Bernie Sanders?
I feel like he connects with everyone. He connects with the Muslim community, and I like his policies, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Old and wise.
Yeah. Now, this is a interesting question, and I want to get your perspective on it. Why do you wear a hijab?
I started wearing my hijab in sophomore year, in the middle of the year, like after a weekend. I just came and I was like, surprised, I'm wearing a hijab. And I started wearing it because I used to like watch all these lectures and stuff, and how it's said in the Quran to wear it. So I wear it because of modesty and representing my religion and identifying as a Muslim. So that's one reason I wear it.
One reason's more than enough. Yeah, strong. And why is it important to be modest in Islam, not just by wearing a hijab, but in your clothing overall?
I feel like it's the person's choice. By wearing modest clothes, you're basically independent. I feel like I'm an independent person. Like, I can wear whatever I want. And there are some people who don't wear modest clothes. There are some people who wear modest clothes. So it depends on you. But in Islam, modesty is like one of the main, I would say,
Tenants?
yeah. And yeah.
Independence through modesty. I like that.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Okay, so what about Muslims who are not as modest? Maybe they don't wear a hijab, maybe they don't cover themselves in their arms and legs. Do you think they're any less Muslim?
I don't think there are any less Muslims because personally we cannot judge anyone. We cannot judge their relationship with God. Like, who knows what's in their hearts, you know? Like, even if someone who's like covering themselves, who's wearing modest clothes, you don't know if they're like Muslim, because wearing stuff like wearing hijab or like wearing clothes doesn't mean that you're more Muslim than someone who's not wearing a hijab or not wearing modest clothes. It's all in the heart, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I agree with that.
What would you tell a young girl who is having issues with accepting her cultural background? How do you think we can fight Islamophobia?
Someone who's having difficulty with their culture background, I feel like they should own it, because when I moved here, I had a pretty thick accent, and I was scared to like sometimes I feel like I do have a thick accent even now, and I feel like you should just own who you are. Like, if you don't, then who's gonna do it for you? So
Exactly.
yeah.
One life goes back to just
Mhm.
living your life, being a good person,
Owning who you are.
owning who you are. Exactly. Independence too. Thank you all for joining us in the 41st episode of the Penny Podcast. Links to the material we mentioned today can be found below. And see y'all next week. Oh, you got it. I gotta do my snap. Ah, no, didn't work. Ah! Through the years, the way news is consumed has shifted and evolved. From physical papers to news sites, each medium has pushed itself to keep up with the times. You can see those changes with Coppell's very own The Psychic newspaper and its embrace of QR codes and design/graphic heavy pages. By focusing more on what a high school newspaper can be instead of what it has been, The Psychic strives to push boundaries. On the flip side, an entirely new journalistic medium formed in the past few years. It is young, volatile, the perfect words to describe the podcast. February 23rd to 29th is Scholastic Journalism Week. As we celebrate the successes of programs and people involved in scholastic journalism, let us not forget to shine a light on student-run podcasts. In a field governed by visual stimuli, podcasts truly are the Wild West for news consumption. We haven't seen all that can be offered through the podcast's unique form of storytelling. I'd give it 2 to 3 more years until they begin to be adopted more and more by high school journalism programs across the nation. Perhaps one day, a small team of high school kids will make it big and captivate a wide audience with their vision, their take on the podcast. Scholastic Journalism Week is all about looking ahead for me. It's about laying a path down for that hypothetical group of high school kids. It's about charting the unknown.